Grizzlies up with, what are we doing here? Okay, hook the Memphis Grizzlies up in this Desmond Bane trade out of nowhere. It was reported on Sunday that the Memphis Grizzlies sent Desmond Bane to the Orlando Magic for Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Cole Anthony, and 4 first-round picks, along with a first-round pick swap.
That's a lot for Desmond Bane.
It's a lot.
I really like Desmond Bane, but I mean, he is a T-Rex for number one. He's got very short arms.
Yeah.
He's only an offensive player, which I guess that's fine if you're a team that already has length
Not
and
a bad
athleticism.
defender.
He's just not a very good defender.
Sure.
And he's a guy who's kind of capped out around 19, 20 points per game.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot to give up.
It is. But I think the bigger, because again, what this means for Memphis, what this means for Orlando matters less to us than the Sacramento Kings. So we're going to make this about the Kings because that's what we do here. I've got a couple of Kings related things on this. One, regardless of what you think of Desmond Bane, Orlando believes that he is the type of playmaker, shot maker, shot creator that they were missing last year.
Mm-hmm.
They're looking at Paolo Banchero. They're looking at Franz Wagner. They're looking at Jalen Suggs. And they're going, this is our core. This is the team we're going to build around. We think that is the guy. We think he is the player that's going to take us over the top. And they pushed their chips in for him. And whether you think that Desmond Bane was worth it or not, he was to the Orlando Magic.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is the kind of move where they're going, they said, or Jake Fisher reported that this means Orlando, or I guess he didn't report, he just noted. Orlando, the 28 and 2030 first round picks they gave up are unprotected. And they did that because they went, hey, we're going to be pretty damn good in 2028 and 2020 and 2030. Desmond Bane's only 26.
Yeah.
This is not an old player that they're acquiring. So I love the idea of a team identifying a player and saying, this is the guy who's going to turn our franchise around, or who's going to help get our franchise over the hump. And I know that the Kings are in a little bit different spot because they don't have young players like Paolo Banchero or Franz Wagner that they're comfortably building around.
Mm-hmm.
But I think identifying the right guy and pushing the chips in to get him instead of going, we'll wait and see, because that doesn't work.
Well,
I love that they did this.
The key to making this move is that you struck gold with Franz Wagner first and then Paolo Banchero. So in order to make a move like this, to go get your third young player, he'll be 27 in a couple of days. Desmond Bane will.
Yeah.
But in order to make this move, you have to have the other two pieces in place.
Mm-hmm.
And, if we rewind 3 years to where the Kings were, that's what they needed to make this move then.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, they just drafted Keegan. They went out and got Malik Monk. They went out and got Kevin Huerter. They did all this stuff in one offseason. But if you were going to make the move to have a permanent player, a player that you believe is going to be a number 2, number 3 scoring option on your team moving forward, and like your young core, that was when you kind of want to do this year 1, year 2 of the Beam team. And so, like, hat tip to Orlando, who identified a player that they believe can complement the other two extremely well, and then going all in. But number one, it took a lot to get them to that point. And number 2, they overpaid so badly. It's ridiculous.
How do you know?
Well, I mean, I like Desmond Bane. I do. But 4 first-round picks, because...
Who cares?
Well, no, I get that. But the fact is that, like, there are going to be better players that are traded for less. And that's where it's almost like the Gobert thing. We can say, who cares? And, like, look, the Gobert trade worked out. Like, whoever...
Go to the conference finals twice.
Yeah, they've been to the conference finals twice, right? But Gobert gets played off the court in the playoffs every year.
Yeah.
So you could say, well, it works in the regular season and some of the time in the playoffs, but it doesn't work overall. But the fact is, there's going to be better players. And I get fit and everything else, especially when you have Suggs, who's coming back from injury. So I get all of that. But at the same time, man, I guess if that's what it took to get him out of there, then that's what it took. But I can't imagine that this trade here sets the market.
No, I think you're probably right. Because it doesn't sound like ESPN and Jake Fisher both reported that Memphis, this is not a selling off. This is not the beginning of a fire sale for Memphis. What it sounds like is Orlando came in, and you're probably right. I agree with you. I don't think this sets the market for other players. This sounded like Orlando called Memphis and said, hey, we really want Desmond Bane.
Yeah.
And Memphis made them ostensibly overpay.
Yeah.
But for Orlando, that's worth it, man. If that's the player, if you said, okay, let's see, Kevin Durant's going to be available, doesn't fit our timeline, we're not going to get involved there. It doesn't sound like Giannis is getting traded, so we're not going to get involved there. We don't think John Morant or Trae Young or any of those guys really fit. We don't want to do the Zion Williamson thing. We don't like that fit. Desmond, man, if we could just get Desmond Bane in here, we could compete in the East. I don't hate it, man.
I don't hate it either. I just like that is a lot to give up.
It is. And I think you're right. I think you're going to see other players like the next trade might be from Memphis. Maybe they package KCP with a couple of those first and send them to Brooklyn for Cam Johnson.
Okay.
And maybe you see something like that where this doesn't necessarily mean every trade is going to involve 4 or 5 picks, but I do think the concept of identifying your guy and then making the moves to go get him because you believe that player is going to get you where you want to go, put you on the path that you want to be on. Again, it's not apples to apples because the Magic and the Kings are in different places organizationally. Yeah. But they believed that this is the best player they were going to be able to get, or he was the right player. And all right, you overpaid a little for him. I think I would rather do that. Because here's your 2 options. You overpay for a player you know you can go get, or you sit around and wait.
Yeah.
And I think if you sit around and wait, yes, you James are absolutely right. You might be able to get a better player for that package of KCP, Cole Anthony, and firsts. Maybe you do. But also maybe you don't. And then you're going into next year having made minimal moves and you're still kind of in the East. Yeah, you're a playoff team, but how far are you going?
No, I get it. I get it. Like pushing all your chips in, I'm all for it. But like typically when you see a team push all their chips in a deal that costs this much, the guy has at least been an all-star.
Sure.
And this is a below all-star level player. I mean, he might make the all-star team in the East.
Sure.
But like
I must just be higher on Desmond Bane than you.
No, I mean, I really like Desmond Bane. I mean, he's torn up the Kings so many times it's ridiculous.
I've seen him tear up a lot of teams.
Yeah.
I think Desmond Bane is a really, really good player who is I don't want to necessarily say miscast in Memphis, but I think that was so the John Morant show that Bane got pushed to the back burner, and I think he's a better playmaker than he got credit for with Memphis. Like putting the ball on the deck and passing and just kind of creating in a way that Orlando didn't really have anybody to create. The risk for me is he's had some back injury stuff.
Yep.
Which would be a giant question mark for me. Let me ask you this. Getting away from what this means for Orlando and Memphis. You say that they overpaid for him. And like I said, I don't necessarily disagree. My question is, Kings-wise, is there a player on the market that you would go make this type of deal for? Is there a player that you look at and you're like, yeah, I'm going to overpay to get that guy in the building?
Yes.
Who is?
Well, I mean, clearly a guy like Giannis, you're going to overpay for.
Sure.
Right?
Yep.
But even in a Giannis deal, like, are we talking 5 first-round picks and 4 pick swaps? Like, that's where that's where I'm at, though. Like,
yeah.
So the value to player isn't like you did not get a superstar. And the deal you gave up is really, really close to superstar level, like quality as far as what you gave up. I think there are players around the league that, like, again, if you can fit them into your system, that you would go out and spend this type of money on, or this type of draft capital. But like off the top of my head, like, am I giving up that for John Morant? I'd consider it. I mean, if you're willing to go 3 first-round picks, you might as well go 4 first-round picks. If you're willing to go 4 first-round picks, you might as well go 4 first-round picks and a pick swap.
So that's where I land on this, just the concept of this trade, right?
Yeah.
If you're the Kings, this offseason, you either need to be accumulating first-round picks or offloading your first-round picks.
Yes.
Standing pat with your firsts and holding on tight to those is going to get you nowhere. So that's where, again, conceptually, whether this works for Orlando or not, TBD. If you win a finals, if they win the finals next year and then they're bad in 2028 and 2030 and they need their first round picks, it would be worth it because you won the finals. Like that makes the trade ultimately worth it. So that's what jumps out to me is, all right, the Kings better be willing to push in their picks for the right. Again, you're not going to trade 4 firsts for Cam Johnson. But if there's a player that they've identified who can get them to a different level, who can get them closer to the playoffs or closer to a conference championship or closer to a championship, you got to push in the picks. And if you're not ready to do that, then you need to be ready to take back picks. And that has to be the offseason. Because going in with 9 firsts and leaving with, I think, 9 firsts, right?
Yeah.
9 first round picks in the future.
Over 7 years.
Over 7 years. And exiting with 9 firsts over the next 6 years, that doesn't do anything for me.
Yeah, I mean, the only way it makes sense though is if you're getting the right player and the right age group, and if I mean, that's where you push in.
Yeah, no doubt.
I just have a really difficult time giving up 4 first round picks for a non-all-star.
Yeah,
that's tough.
Sure, that's fine. That's fine.
And I like Desmond Bane.
I want to know this obviously immediately on the Kings portion of the internet. The De'Aaron Fox trade immediately came to the fore after the Desmond Bane trade was announced. So let's talk about that.
Okay.
We'll continue talking about the Desmond Bane trade, what it means for the Sacramento Kings. And the San Francisco Giants also made a massive trade yesterday that we will need to get to as well. That's James Ham. I'm Kyle Madsen. Joe Brazil on the ones and twos. We're the Insiders, sponsored by Jiffy Lube. This is ESPN 1320, Sacramento Sports Leader. Good question here. I'm saving that one. Yeah, this is the other angle on that for Memphis. They have a player who can ostensibly be Desmond Bane. At least ideally.
Who, the Grizzlies?
Yeah.
Yeah.
With Walls.
Oh, that is a good question. Let's see. Someone just asked about Scott Perry's tweet. There we go. Tyler. Scott Perry's tweet, does that insinuate any direction the team may be heading? Scott Perry does this every Monday, or he puts out an inspirational tweet. So we need to develop patience and endurance for lasting achievement. We often expect immediate results and instant gratification, but any worthwhile endeavor entails much trial and error. Learn to look at each setback encountered, not as a failure, but as necessary to get you one step closer to the ultimate success. Stay patient and consistent in your efforts, and you will find victory. I'm just like, I feel like he should just put this. He probably has this on a t-shirt, and he just every time he meets with Vivek Ranadive, he's wearing this t-shirt, and Vivek's sitting there reading it the whole time, thinking, I wonder if he knows I'm reading his t-shirt. That's what. Yeah, like so. I'm gonna say that those tweets are directed. Stay patient. Don't fire me if I don't get the right deal done today. Yeah.
That's the shirt I have. Don't fire me.
Yeah.
Desmond Bane, over the last 3 years, 47.7% from the field, 39.4% from 3 on 7 attempts a game, 88% from the free throw line, averaging 21, 5, and 5, with over a steal a game.
Yeah.
He's freaking good, man.
No, he is good. I mean, but this year he averaged 19.2.
As a tertiary option to Franz and Paolo. I like that.
Yeah. I do too. I think he's a perfect fit to go out and get. And I get it. Like if they just keep holding out for like more and more and more, because I think the way this conversation went was literally like, hey, we'd like Desmond Bane. And the Grizzlies says we're not trading Desmond Bane. It's like, okay, we'll give you 2 firsts for Desmond Bane. They're like, yeah, we're not trading Desmond Bane. It's like, okay, we'll give you Kentavious Caldwell-Pope and Cole Anthony and 2 firsts and a pick swap.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, yeah, we're not doing that. Like, okay, well, how about 3 firsts? Yeah, you're getting closer, but he's really not on the market. Okay, how about 4 first-round picks and a pick swap? And then it's like, oh man, they gave us a deal we can't say no to.
Yeah.
And so Memphis said, okay.
Yep. You just got to be ready to either make that offer or for anybody, not necessarily if you don't think Desmond Bane is worth it, but
yeah,
whatever player you do think is worth it, Darius Garland or whomever.
Well, see, that's going to be the question. Like, would you give up 4 first-round picks for Darius Garland?
I would do this exact deal for Darius Garland immediately. I would add on a first round.